The last few weeks, the internet has literally been torn apart by the scandal surrounding P. Diddy's really horrific story and rather resembles a script for any thriller. However, its consequences we have yet to see. Usually we do not dive into such topics, but a huge number of Hollywood stars somehow already involved, so today we will talk about who was spotted at the evil parties and what will be the consequences for cinema. Make yourself comfortable because discuss a lot. To start with, a few words about what happens at all. P. Diddy, whose real name Sean John Combs, is more known as Hip the Hop artist of his tracks, has repeatedly topped the music charts and hardly needs to be presented as an artist, but his influence has long since gone beyond a solo career because he became a producer, established a clothing brand, and even sponsored the creation of TV channels. Diddy is often called a modern Gatsby because he often hosted loud and fancy parties that didn't have anyone in the J's, and Beyoncé is just the tip of the iceberg among a string of famous names that were more often on the guest list: Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith, Ashton Kutcher, Sarah Jessica Parker, Ben Stiller, Bruce Willis. Elba from time to time attended these events. The list could go on for a long time and it would be nothing, but this fall revealed the terrible truth about what was happening behind closed doors. Events started when late last year rapper-singer Casey's ex-wife accused Diddy of systematic violence. Aside from that, it became known that her ex-husband was in complete control of her career and personal life, had her on alcohol, drugs, and blown up the other rapper's car. More serious charges than any. However, Sean denied all this, and what that incredibly case was settled and the lawsuit went nowhere. And then followed a lot of statements from other victims' children, among which were not only women but men and even teenagers. Against this jury, New York court decided to take rapper into custody and moreover imposed a ban on bail given the financial condition and gravity of charges. As the case progresses, gradually shed light on the activities of Diddy, which was hidden from the general public now, not only for violence but also for bribery, trafficking in illegal drugs, and a whole bunch of other illegal stuff. However, the most controversial point was his famous parties, where he played total chaos, and the worst thing that it is at these parties were some of the most famous showbiz, music and film business, so the public started to discuss actively who was involved in what happened, who knew and did nothing. Of course, the final decision is still far away. However, rappers' close friends Jay-Z and Beyoncé already lose followers by millions, are publicly criticized and started losing contracts, and right now the public has opened up to the witch hunt to find all those involved, and those who knew about everything and kept silent in the network have been published archival photos from the parties that Diddy held on. Photos in different years got just a bunch of popular actors of all kinds. However, official statements about what happened so far received very little yes, and I myself parties not to actively spread. That only adds oil on the fire. For example, private guest was Ashton Kutcher, who also brought Milhouse with him in one of the old interviews. Actor was evasive, saying that there was a lot going on about what is better not to mention now. In the context of the trial, these words sounded quite like new, although celebrity mostly still prefer to remain silent. Representatives of Leo DiCaprio are almost the only ones who have made a rebuttal. The actor in youth was also a frequent guest at the party. Diddy, but stated that nothing knew what was going on behind closed doors. In 2018, magazine interviewed and asked who of his guests was number one at his white parties. Rapper immediately named DiCaprio. However, any involvement actor happening denied at the moment at the early case stage, and direct evidence that one of the celebrities was involved in some illegal and criminal activities are not detected. In addition, anonymous sources report that at these closed parties was a whole network of secret rooms of different levels. In the main rooms were held ordinary social events, but the lower were the rooms, the more Terrible things. There were said to have lasted such parties for several days, and some even required medical care after their completion. True, the same sources say that not all levels would. So to say open to visit if this information is confirmed, that many guests really did not know about it and were just at the party, but here fans and haters seem to be no longer stop in social networks now. There is a real hell of comments from those who now hate or vice versa, who supports the actors, as often happens, opinion divided, but still too early to say that who is to blame and who is not. To the same social networks are filled with all sorts of fakes and fake videos and photos. The story looks even more unpleasant to similar. Open to suffer may not only those who are really guilty. And on the example of cases after the effect of Winnest, we have already made sure that unscrupulous people can take the opportunity to profit from the scandal to be famous or just be in trend at the expense of actors, career musicians and producers. From themselves add that we want all guilty and involved to be punished in the act, but there is a feeling that the wave will soon hit Hollywood by connecting many others. We will watch it and hope that the terrible news ends thus without them, that we only illuminated the side of scandals that concern the Chushit industry, because if to understand further not enough, and several video accusation is 50 Cent Sasha's incomprehensible stories, Bieber murder, Tupac connection with politicians and many more Hollywood strikes before this trend to cancel actors have already made the contribution to the industry and certainly do not want it to continue. While write in comments your opinion about what is happening and what consequences it will ultimately affect the film industry or get rid of a slight scare. Well, for today it's all, friends. See you in new videos very soon.